Oh my god, what a sick trailer. Hello everyone and welcome to the stream. I'm Gigs, not Guigs, not Gugus, but Gigs. I'll be your main caster for the following matches. Round of 8 of the Kings of the Warsword tournament is about to begin, and we got some exciting series incoming. But first of all, many thanks to Tech Cafe and Microsoft for sponsoring this event, the biggest tournament we've seen so far on the EE. Yeah, what to say, I'm absolutely hyped by today's series. We've got Warsword versus Absolute Eutopia as the first series of the day. And then we'll get EZ versus Revnak. Then we'll continue with Julian K versus Minimolt and Optimus versus Angus to finish. But yeah, Warsword versus Absolute Utopia, the first series in this round of 8 for the Kings of the Old World tournament. Let's have a look on the map pool. I think players banned Portugal, and the second map was Pomerania, or whatever you call that. But yeah, and the civilization bans were India and Japan. So just waiting for players to get into the game. Should be starting any moment now. Hope you guys are doing well in the chat. Yes, Minimote, it's Gigs, not Guigus, not Gugus, not any other variation. But yeah, really hyped by today's series. We'll be joined by Lion's Heart and Nicius later on during the day. They will continue the casting. Better ever since I heard Big Teddy voice. You know it, you know it. Some big names in the chat. Tabin with the X-Stock Prey. How you doing, Tabin? Yeah, going into game number 1 in this best of 7 round of 8 of the Kings of the Old World tournament. And we are about to get Hausa versus Italy on Lithuania. I think Warsword is playing Hausa and Absolute Utopia is playing Italy. I think the overlay is gonna switch anytime soon. There is. Let's get into this game number 1. So Lithuania is an interesting map. There's 2 pretty good TP lines on both sides of the map. It's pretty hard to control all the TPs, and it's really easy to deny for your opponent. And Hausa versus Italy, wow. Absolute Utopia going for Italy in this game number 1. We'll see if he has something in mind regarding this matchup. We can already see Warsword converting a wolf. Gonna pick himself a nice 40-foot treasure. Perhaps he'll be able to skip villager and age earlier because of that. Absolute Utopia going for the market, which is the standard thing with Italy. Gonna pick up a nice point trader under his TC as well. Getting a house with the architects. Really going for the efficiency with these villagers and leave the construction for the architects. I'll be scouting the middle of the map now. We'll find a nice coin treasure once again. Perhaps will help him getting hunting dogs or another market upgrade. Oh, capitalism being the first deck, the first card being sent by Absolute Utopia. It's got a pretty interesting deck overall. A few H4 cards, but a lot of H3 options as well. So we'll see what he has in mind. I believe it's going to be Hausa giving tempo in this matchup. if they decide to be aggressive and force Italy to play either h2 or h3. So I don't think you want to end up playing versus h4 Italy, because that's where they outshining. And the host deck being quite standard as well. He went for the training post in h1. He will be beating it now, but I think he will have the XP to send the university card if he decides to go for it. Looks like Hausa would be able to age with 12 villagers. Oh, that's a nice treasure. Should be about 80 wood, I believe, 90 wood. Yeah, definitely will help him. Okay, let's see if he tries to time the university card with his age up. So you will get extra value out of that if you time it correctly. Or perhaps you will just save the shipment and go for another build order. So it's about seeing how Absolute Utopia identifies what Hausa is up to and see what response he's going with. Building a Lombard, which is really standard. And he will grab a training post as well. Building it with the Architect once again. I like that he's patrolling the middle with his Explorer, trying to scout if Hausa is going for any kind of Watchtower rush. But if he pays attention, he will see that Hausa is on 3 training posts already. So it doesn't look like anything aggressive at all, but rather something greedy. And yeah, University card, Hausa Kingdom, being timed to the perfection by Warsword. Let's see what he goes for with that. He's going for the forward wagon. Interesting. I believe he went for the university in base as well. Oh, native post. What do we have here? Perhaps he's going for a technology in the native post. So perhaps he's going to train units out of them. Let's see what he decides to go for. It doesn't look like Absolute Utopia scouted it just yet. But yeah, influence being sent first, I believe. And looks like Italy is just going for the fast vultures. 700 coin being his shipments and already stacking a lot of food. I assume he will invest some of that food into the Lombard, or he could decide to save it to train units or go for the fast industrial. Yeah, as you were mentioning it in the chat, it looks like Kinesis BO. You follow a lot of trading posts because you get a lot of for free with Hausa. Ken had advanced politician as well, being sent for Italy, so he's gonna age a little bit faster. Stacking a lot of resources, so I wouldn't be surprised if he goes straight to industrial after that. Which is what you want to do as Italy, really. That's where they shine. Pretty strong skirmishers, really strong shipments as well. Hausa on the other side, he's booming really hard. I think he's researching a tech from the native post right now. Somatism, I'm not exactly sure what they do. And training a few cav from those as well. Gonna take down Absolute Utopia's hero. Looks like Warsword is aiming for a push. Trinity units, see what he does with that. Oh wow, it looks like he's building the second training post as well. And absolute Eutopia is going to reach the Fortress Age. Aging with TC Wagon for Absolute Utopia. Gonna place it on his next hunt, trying to secure some more resources. He will have a really strong defense there. 2 town centers and a tower. Gonna be really hard for Hausa to push into that, into H2. First shipment for Absolute Utopia in H3. Going for an economic card, which makes a lot of sense. I mean, Hausa is going greedy himself, and he didn't see many units. So he feels pretty safe going for the coin investment into Lombards.
Готов. Ой, ferito, non posso muovermi.
A nice catch for Warsword. So Italy's eco is skyrocketing right now. The second TC, training villagers, the coin investment in the Lombards, and looks like Italy's building more Lombards in the back of his base, so going for even more greed. He's got some mercenaries available. We've got Napoleon guns. But yeah, really interesting. And it looks like Hausa is going to H3 as well. And his eco is through the roof right now. He's getting so much influence from this training post. Yeah, so he's got a sizable army. He just can't really do much with them just yet. He doesn't have a lot of siege. He could harass the Italy economy, but as I was saying before, 2 town centers and the tower, it's quite hard to push into that without siege. And Hausa reaching H3. Wonder what Absolute Utopia is doing right now. We haven't seen any units. Hey, yeah, he's going to industrial. And that's what you wanna do is Italy if you can. Get to that industrial age with that really strong economy rolling. Turn a few Cossacks. Let's see what he does with those. Looks like he's just happy defending, not going for a raid with them. 1,000 influence for Hausa. And he's stacking a lot of resources too. I wouldn't be surprised if he tries to follow up to industrial as well. But it's gonna take him a long time. Italy about halfway up. So he will be reaching industrial before 11 minutes and 30 seconds. Which is a pretty good time considering he went quite greedy. And his economy is really nuts at this point. The income per minute being really strong. 1,200 food per minute. Almost 800 coin per minute as well. Very curious to see what he will send first in H4, and if Warsword will try to apply any pressure upon age up, or if he will just follow up. 3 Falconets, being the age up chosen by Italy, really standard and really strong age up. Most Europeans have 2 Falconets as an industrial age up option, but Italy got 3. Which makes the age up so much better. And it looks like Absolute Utopia is going a bit aggressive, positioning his army forward. I'm not sure if he's gonna push instantly with really few units to protect his cannons, but that would be quite risky. And it looks like it's what he's trying to do. Perhaps we'll aim towards the training post. And yeah, I mean, Hausa is just gonna take the fight. He's got a lot of units, a lot of cavalry on the field, and some skirmishers to help and support that cavalry. But yeah, these native units are just tearing through the mercenary line for absolute Eutopia, and it looks like the cannons are going down as well. They got a good trade though, huge volley on the skirmishers, and absolute Eutopia managed to clean up the hand cavalry line for Warsword, but I don't think this trade was that good for him. He still lost 3 cannons, which is a big investment. So yeah, the papal bombards being sent for Italy, and he's training a lot of skirmishers in the back of that, so going really scum cannon heavy, which will lead him exposed to a cav switch from Hausa, but not sure what Hausa is doing right now. He was banking a lot of resources, and yeah, he just reached the industrial age himself, so he took a decent fight, I feel like. Now he's in H4 in the back of that. Going for 14 javelin riders. Okay. So he's perhaps afraid of a cavalry shipment from Italy, but absolute Eutopia is just happy making these strong Bersaglieri that auto upgrade to H4 and have really good stats, 5 speed, a lot of attack. But absolute Eutopia unpacking his bombards in the middle of the map. He's got a really nice choke position to take a fight. And he's making training videos from 2 TCs, training scums from 2 barracks as well, and he's shipping factories now, so his eco is gonna get even better really fast. Has to be careful though, that's a lot of cavalry for Warsword, but there's not a lot of hand cavalry, which are the units that counter the skirmishers from Italy, and I feel like if these armies fight, then Italy's gonna be okay, as long as he can get rid of the hand cavalry. Because there are a lot of javelin riders and leaf petardos, but they're not super strong versus skirmishers, so... Yeah, and yeah, good positioning for absolute Eutopia covering his cannons. Fighting in the choke. Looks like Warsword is gonna try to kill a wheel while retreating, but gonna lose a few extra units. And yeah, the trumpet ability from the Bersaglieri. Every time you kill a unit, then you're gonna stun another one, which gives you so many free kills. Because you can easily snipe them, you have 5 speed so you can catch up with cav when they are stunned. Really strong units. And looks like he sent the Royal Musketeers as well. So now he's got a sizable amount of anti-cav. And ooh, Hausa is training Napoleon guns. Okay, that's very interesting. These will do well versus the Bersaglieri for sure, but I'm not convinced about how good they will be versus the bombards. He's got a lot of influence in stack, and I believe he could train a couple cover rings as well, but it doesn't look like he's going for it just yet. Is that 4 Napoleon guns? That's a lot of coin invested. And oh, absolute Eutopia is going for the 4 covering shipment. Which makes sense that you would anticipate Hausa to go for cover range right now. But he went for Napoleon guns, so these covers are gonna be even better right now. Looking really good for absolute Eutopia. His eco is just through the roof right now. 55 years at 16 minutes, plus all the Lombards and the factories in the back of that. And looks like Warsword is looking to take a fight. Oh, let's see how these goes. The Napoleon guns are going to connect on the infantry, but the coverings are in position to snipe them now. There's a lot of DPS from all the range cavalry from the Hausa player. Oh, these Napoleon guns have done so much work versus the infantry, but now they're slowly going down to the coverings. And it looks like Warsword is somewhat cleaning up right now. So it's a big, huge reinforcement for Absolute Utopia. A lot of skirmishers. So many free kills. And yeah, the bombards are still alive. 2 of the culverins are still alive, and all the Napoleon guns and most of the Hausa army have gone down. And it's looking really good for Italy now. Yet the cavalry mass went down really fast for Hausa, but I mean the skirmishers counted them, so you would expect them to die pretty quickly if they are on the front line. Some hand cavalry being trained for Hausa, but is it gonna be enough though? There's not a lot of them, and the bombards are gonna shoot the skirmishers now. Oh no, focusing the Napoleon guns, huge patch coming out for the Hausa player. Well, the coverage though, I can't see them. I think they're all gone down. So I feel like the Napoleon guns will eventually take down the bombards. No, he's not focusing them anymore. 2 Napoleon gun left and 1 bombard left. But more reinforcements for Absolute Utopia. Going full melee with the... No, okay, he's just going in range with skirmishers. And it looks like Hausa is gonna hold it for now. The bombard is gonna go down to the Napoleon guns. So yes, scores are evening out a little bit right now. Italy was like 100 score ahead, and now he's only 30 score ahead. Wow, what a nice hold from Warsword there. It was looking really good for Italy. And really good job from him focusing the coverings and making great use of the Napoleon guns he trained. So these Napoleon guns are basically leather cannons, but they have a higher rate of fire, I feel like, and do more damage for sure. Yeah, 90 damage with 2 area. Right, a 4th wagon being sent for Absolute Utopia, and he's gonna need it for sure because he's gathering on the left-hand side of the map right now, which is where Hausa is going to go. And all these villagers unprotected on the left-hand side, and this horse will coming in clutch if he can manage to place it. But we have another fight in the middle of the map, and Absolute Utopia taking a bad trade once again. Still a lot of cavalry on the field, and these Napoleon guns not going down. He's trying to focus them with TC fire, which I like, but he's gonna lose a lot of villager. And the fort is going up, but there's 30 seconds before it's built, and all this cavalry is sieging meanwhile. And he's still training Vesilieri, and they're just gonna get cleaned up. Not looking good at all for Italy now. The economy is really insane, but he's just not capable of massing enough units and diversifying his composition just yet to deal with all this cavalry from the Hausa player. And now this sun center is most likely will go down. Italy doesn't have a shipment ready. And now the scores are almost even. So Absolute Utopia gonna lose the stand center. He's researching paper cartridge, I think he's in the arsenal. But yeah, just going skirms is not what... Just going skirms is not what's gonna help him right now, and ooh, that's a huge raid incoming. And a lot of villagers are gonna go down. Is Hausa doing it actually? Oh, what an impressive comeback. It's not over obviously, but A lot of villages are going down, and even though the Italian economy is really strong with the Lombard stuff, but now he's being denied access to natural resources. Finally trading some Dragoons now, which I like a lot. Dragoons plus Basilieri is a really strong composition. And if he can get enough Dragons out, then he can finally utilize his skirmisher advantage. So definitely not over. But great job from Warsword from coming back, because it was freaking really tired for him 5 minutes ago. And he managed to do a lot of economical damage. But still, the fort went up in the middle of the map. Wow, a mill being placed already. The second one in base as well. And there's so many Napoleon guns in the field. How did he train all of this? Is he training this with influence, I assume? Because he's sending infinite influence all the time. But that's a lot of cannons on the field for sure. And this fort is gonna go down. Yeah, they cost 500 influence each, so every time he's sending infinite influence, he can train 2 of those. Okay, fort's going down. And Absolute Eutopia will have to bring some coverings to deal with these Napoleon guns. It looks like he's got a couple on the field. Doesn't have many Dragoons though, so has to be really careful. Unit control is gonna be key here. And I think Absolute Utopia is just doing the right thing right now. He's just letting his buildings die in the middle and just trying to buy some time, really. Because if these two army connects right now, I feel like Hausa will win it for sure. He's got so many cavalry, and there's not many dragoons for the Italian player. Going for the really strong lancers, which will help him for sure. It's really strong versus the Hausa composition. And taking his skirmisher even more, if another take in the arsenal. So he's got 2 shipments ready, and he's got cavalry combat in play. So these lancers are gonna be even more jacked. But there's not many dragoons, and looks like Warsword is going for the fight. He's just identified that there's not enough anti-cav on the field. And really strong engagements. And oh my god, all the plus 12s everywhere. These Yoruba riders are doing so much work. The covering is going down as well, and now there's still 4 Napoleon guns on the field. And all this economy being exposed right now, plantation being built on the front as well. Oh, huge pop from the lancers on top of the infantry there, but is it gonna be enough though? It's only 3 cavalry. They are so strong though. More dragoons being trained. Will be used to defend the cavalry, and more Vasilieri being trained as well. There's still 2 Napoleon guns on the field though. It's looking better and better for Hausa right now. And a lot of villagers are going down for the Italian player. Down to 60 villagers with 21 idle. And wow, Absolute Utopia resigned. What a comeback from Warsword, really impressive. Really, really impressive. And he will take game number 1 in this best of 7. Wow, and Hausa outbooming Italy, that's something special. I guess influence counts as resources, so that's why, but yeah, really nice comeback from Warsword. 150 Basilieri being trained by Absolute Utopia throughout the game. God, this trade was insane. So there was 3 major engagements. The first one going really poorly for Absolute Utopia, and the second one going rather poorly for Warsword. But the third fight, Warsword just holding Absolute Utopia push with like half the units, which is rather impressive. Yeah, all resources gathered, Hausa being slightly ahead, but that's because he's sending infinite influence. Yeah, Italy booming really hard during the game with 2 town centers. His eco is quite insane at some point. I just feel like he didn't find the optimal composition that he'd like to go for. And took some bad engagements overall versus with like his 4 coverings. And this was not a really great trade. And the cap switch from Warswood was pretty good. So 1-0 for Warswood in this best of 7. Hope you guys in the chat enjoyed the game. Yeah, he did use some native units that are rather strong, that's for sure. Okay, so players are currently drafting Sieves for the next game. Curious to see what they're going to play. I wouldn't be surprised if Absolute Utopia is trying to play one of his really strong Sieve, like China right now. And I don't know what to expect from Warsword, to be fair. I haven't seen this player a lot, but he's been performing really well during this tournament. So I'm pretty sure he's got some strats figured out. So Hungarian Plains is going to be the map number 2. Another quite interesting map with 2 TP9s that can be picked up for either player. There's only 1 gold mine in base, which matters quite a lot in some matchups. And looks like Absolute Utopia indeed is going to pick China, and Warsword is going to pick USA. Alright. China is probably a strong pick on this map. You don't really have livestock, but there are quite a lot of small treasures that could help you quite a bit, and USA being a decent pick as well. So yeah, let's see if Absolute Utopia can tie things up, or if Warsword is going to take an early lead with 2-0. Make America great again. Yep, that's what Warsword is going to try to do. But yeah, I see quite a few of you guys mentioning the natives on this map. Obviously, it was a really strong Hausa map. There was a lot of training posts and strong native TPs as well. Is the new patch installed now? Yes, it is, indeed. And you're right, absolute main sieve is China. And that's what he will be going in this game number 2. Which makes sense. When you lose the opening game, going for one of your best sieves in the second game could give you the confidence boost. And here we go. In this game number 2, best of 7, Kings of the Old World tournament, sponsored by Tech Cafe and Microsoft. And we've got Absolute Utopia in the color red, playing as the Chinese civilization, versus Warsword in the color blue, top of the map, playing as the United States of America. And we've got an early village being built by Absolute Utopia, also working on a nice 50 wood treasure under his TC. So we'll see what he decides to go for with that. He pretty much already has the wood to build a second village if he wants to go for it, but he could also go for a trading post. And he's got another wood treasure under his TC, so he won't have to chop at all in each one, which is really good. You could also argue that he could go for some kind of 2 village and TP or 3 villages opening, which are really strong if you can get away with it, but slows you down quite a bit in each one. And second village, it's going to be... Okay, so no early trading post for China. USA on the other side. Left the wood crate on the floor, so not going for... I love the name of his deck, Lose deck. Okay, so we've got a really straightforward game plan here for Warsword, aka trying to lose this game as fast as possible. Joking, obviously. And going for capitalism first. He doesn't have the CDBs in deck, but he's got the bandwagon.
Yes?
So this looks like a mercenary deck, kinda. Curious to see what he does. If he goes capitalism and bandwagon, then yeah, we could see him dropping a saloon. China, on the other hand, has a rather standard deck. Interesting that he has Old Han and Shukunus and Gang Pikeman in H4. It's a really old school style. Oh, Lionheart's calling the Cowboys. Okay. Let's see if it's Warsword's choice there. And yeah, I mean, Warsword is already mining a lot of gold, so bandwagon it's probably going to be. Both players patrolling the left-hand side of the map right now, looking for some leftover treasures. And yeah, Dutch immigrants. Okay, so I'm really curious about this USA builder. We'll see if he goes for like a straight FF with a really strong coin income, or if he tries to go for something a bit cheesier with like mercenaries, perhaps. Bandwagon slowly building. And we had a training post as well, being built by the USA player. And no trading post being built by China in transition. which makes me think that China might be playing some H2.
Orders?
Military wagon
Yes.
from the age up. And he's going for the barracks, so not going for the saloon. Philadelphia Convention being shipped as well. And nope, 700 coins first for China, so looking like the standard China FF, but without the training post. So his shipment curve is going to be really slow. And so what is USA training? He's training a few, I forgot the name of these musketeers, regulars, that's the name. So yeah, we'll see what he decides to do with those. Hamiltonian economics as well. So he will be able to get a lot of market of upgrades for really cheap. Super greedy FF for US doesn't look like he's, he's training regulars, so. So China is gonna click up to the Fortress Age. Is he aging with the Tower of or the Confucian Academy? Okay, so Confucian Academy skirmishers it's going to be. So he's expecting some kind of pressure, I assume. But a pressure that hasn't come yet. And he will be to the Fortress Age in about 50 seconds. He did send 700 wood as well.
Yes.
So if he wants a shipment ready in H3, and he has to drop some infrastructure right now with that wood. And looks like Warsword is getting ready for a push. Oh, he's gonna miss his patch though. Unfortunate, there could have been 5 more regulars. And 700 coin being shipped now. So yeah, not doing much with these musketeers being trained. And China is gonna get to the Fortress Age rather safely. And he was able to build a consulate and get a village forward as well. So if he wants to put the pressure on right now, then he will be able to do so quite quickly with this next shipment. And allying with the British, which is the standard choice, buffing your units and giving you access to redcoats, really strong musketeers. So his first target is going to be the USA trading post, which is rather exposed. And is Warsword trying to age right now, or not? Because he seems like he's pushing with some units in the middle of the map. I know he's still training regulars, but he's got a lot of coin stacked. And he's training some hussars now, so he will be playing H2. And Absolute Utopia is going to run back, trying to save these barracks. And he's got the skirmisher, so he should be fine. He should have another shipment on the way as well right now. I would expect something like Intervention, Chengdaos, or 5 Meteor Hammers would be good there. And Intervention it's going to be, which is the safest approach. Also probably the strongest. It's going to be really good versus what Warsword is doing right now. Because you get strong muskets versus regulars and hussars. And training a batch of cavalry as well. Interesting. And it looks like go time for Absolute Utopia. He should definitely fight that. He's got the skirmishers and his cavalry is going to be super tanky versus H2 musketeers. But he's just going to kite it back and trying to get as much value from his skirmishers as possible. But we get a hard flank from Warsword, but a bit on the wrong side. Unfortunately, the hussars spotting the Chinese cavalry and the redcoats while the skirmishers are shooting at the regulars, which is really good for Absolute Utopia. And yeah, all the hussars going down, and most of the regulars going down as well. And then there's still some cavalry in the field for the Chinese player. Minutemen being called as well, but all the regulars are going down. Now it's only Minutemen and a few state militia remaining. So this was a fantastic trade for Absolute Utopia. Got rid of all the musketeers, killed the 5 hussars, and he still got 8 musketeers alive. Sure, he lost a lot of skirms, but definitely a good trade. And this is where China wants to be, right? Taking good trades, being 1 age ahead, and taking good fights means a lot of experience, and experience means more powerful shipment, and that's exactly what we're seeing right now. 10 arquebuses being shipped, a batch of cav being trained. And looking like Absolute Utopia is in total control right now. He's going for the training post as well, the native TP. So I wonder what tech he's researching right now. But being really careful and happy about this position, not overextending. He knows that USA is stuck in H2, and that eventually in the long run, China should be able to win the game. The Arsenal wagon being shipped for the American player. And he's gonna research a few upgrades for his regulars, making them quite a bit stronger. And wow, there's already so many scams on the field for China. And yeah, USA having to now expose some villager on the map. He's gathering on the right hand side of it. Not being identified just yet by Absolute Utopia. Just waiting for 5 meteors, playing really careful there, which makes a lot of sense, but pretty good rematch from the American player. And oh, things are a little bit out of position. He's gonna lose a few regulars there, but a good calf flank coming in, and nice strike box micro from Absolute Utopia, repositioning his cavalry and his redcoats on the cavalry side, and the Avscums are fighting the regulars, and the cav and anti-cav are fighting the hussars. And that's just gonna be a clean-out while all these hussars are going down for just a few Chinese units there. And yeah, Warsword is just gonna tap out. Well played by Absolute Utopia. Bringing it back 1-1 in this series. Really solid game from him. I mean, I didn't feel like he was worried at any time during the game. Just really well controlled overall, waiting for shipments, fighting at the right times, and great positioning in all these fights as well. I feel like Warsword is trying to set a trap, perhaps baiting Absolute Utopia to push him early H3, and trying to clean him up with a lot of regulars and some hussars, and try to snowball from there. But the first engagement just didn't go his way, and then it's really hard to come back when you have worse units. Yeah, well played from Absolute Utopia. Score is currently 1-1 in this series. So moving on to game number 3 it is. Players are currently drafting their civs as we speak. Let's see what they decide to pick. So Absolute Utopia won game number 2, but it cannot use his main civilization anymore. And whereas Warsword, not sure what he will pick on the next map. I'll have to see in a minute. So the next map is going to be Saxony. I feel like it would be a good pick for British. I think Warsword played as Civ. That's a pretty good map for civilization like Ottoman. But perhaps Warsword will play either Italy or Malta there. We'll have to see. But no, I was wrong. Apparently, Warsword is going to be playing as Sweden. And Absolute Utopia will be playing as Malta. Interesting. So Sweden versus Malta on Saxony. That's going to be an interesting one. I don't think we've seen this matchup at all during this tournament. I feel like Malta should do well versus Sweden. Maybe I'm wrong. Leather cans are going to be important, I feel like. Hello, Marius. Have a nice day to you too. Players currently hosting the game, just waiting for them to get ready. I hope you guys are having a good day. Right now in France, it's really hot. It's hot everywhere on the planet. Yeah, I know, right? All right, looks like players already. We're getting into game number 3 in this best of 7, the round of 8 for the Kings of the Old World tournament. It will get Warsword playing as Sweden versus Absolute Utopia playing as the Maltese civilization. On Saxony, there we are. So let's see what Sweden decides to open with. It looks like nowadays players tend to go for tops opening rather than trading post. We'll see if Warswood has something in mind. One top, it's going to be picking up a treasure on the left-hand side of the map as well. And the second one being built as well. So the standard 2 tops opening. Gonna pick up a nice 40 XP as well. So he should get his first shipments really early. As soon as he built that last orb, basically. Yeah, first shipment before 1 minute is rather impressive. Going with 3 villagers. The standard opening. And he's got a pretty standard deck overall. All the cards that you would expect. 4 tops, leather cannon, ironworks, some military shipments, some crates. Malta gathering some food, building his house, sending 3 villagers as well. And he's got an interesting deck, but really what you would expect. The settler wagon commandery card, some mercenaries shipments, and some crossbows upgrades cards as well. So yeah, both players picking up treasures in the middle of the map. Yeah. Looks like Absolute Utopia would be picking himself a nice 90 coin treasure. So he's got already got 250 coin in the bank. We'll see how he decides to spend that at H2. But could open up for different build orders. Nice wood treasure for the Sweden player. So he will be able to age with 14 villages. I feel like both players have a pretty good start overall in terms of treasures. And there are still quite a couple good wood ones on the right hand side of the map. So also this will be pretty happy about that. Must be a 60 wood over there. Got it by 2 wolves. Engaging with the governor, which is the tower and 200 coin. And the quartermaster for Malta. Transitioning all these villages to wood as soon as you click up to the next stage. So it looks like Eutopia will go for the commandery and settler wagon card, as he's dropping a lot of wood. And it looks like Warsword is booming quite a lot right now. He's already on 50 pop of tops, soon to be on 60. Picking up a nice 90 wood on the right hand side of the map as well. Which will help him for sure. Could go for a market now. Could save that wood for a military building at H2 as well. We'll see what he decides to go for. Dominions being his first shipment. Will grant him 4 tops that he could place anywhere he wants on the map. And there are quite a lot of gold mines on his side of the map. He could go for 200 pop of tops if he wants to, which is extremely greedy, but also pays off really quickly. Really synergize really well with ironworks and blueberries. So yeah, pretty standard build order for Sweden, just being slightly greedy. No military buildings on the floor just yet. And commandery wagon is gonna reach the town center of Absolute Utopia. Going for an hospital as well. And hunting dogs being researched. This shipment is so strong when you think about it. You get that commandery, which is already pretty strong, and 2 settler wagons as well. And he's training some hospitaliers from that hospital and training settler wagons from the commandery. And still picking up some treasures. Which is really nice. It's not only an Age 1 thing, but if you can pick some during your early Age 2, you could get an Age as well. It's gonna get a Bachelor for Hospitalius. He's Sweden training any units right now. Yep, he's going for double Rex Caribbean. Went for 700 wood after his Dominion shipment, and he used that wood to drop 2 barracks and an artillery foundry as well. So Carolians and leather cannons will be the composition he goes for, which should be really strong versus the nature of Maltese units, which are hussars and crossbows and pikemen in each 2. Absolute Eutopia sending 700 coin will be used to amass some hussars. The Carolines are gonna deny the Hospitaliers from sieging the top. And turbo mode being pressed. Charging right on those. And carrying speed is pretty good to catch other infantry units. We'll only kill 1, but 2 of the remaining swordsmen are low HP right now. And looks like Sweden is on max pop of tops. No, 180. Still could place a couple more, but sorry, such a good economy for the Sweden player. You see he's getting really good batches of Caronians, and he's training leather cannons as well. So he should be able to get 3 leather cannons. And he's sending 700 food as well. Interesting. That's why his income was so high. Oh yeah, so 4 leather cannons it's going to be. And he's got another shipment in the back of it. 8 pikes, so really going aggressive now. And looking like a timing. Sending crates to mass units and sending military shipment to push. That's how you set up a timing. And yeah, it's gonna be a scary push for Warsword. We'll see how Absolute Eutopia manages to deal with that. He's sieging tops on the right hand side of the map right now. But he's got a decent army as well. Getting ready for a flank perhaps. He's sending 8 crossbows and training cavalry, but I feel like the commandery will go down before this batch can finish, and this could be 5 extra hussars in this fight and not going to be completed. So eventually we'll have to rebuild that commandery and spend these resources. Oh, but that's a huge catch from Warsword. He's gonna get so much intel. I feel like Absolute Eutopia has to fight that because it's only like 30% of the Sweden army there, and he could get a really good trade there, as we see. And catching reinforcements is also a way to hold timings. And some crossbows and minutemen being called. And the calf flank right in the Carolians, trying to split those into the leather cannons. But Warsword doing a really good job at protecting them. Does he have enough infantry though? And it looks like this fight is really close. All the ladder cannons going down, and there's still a couple of hussars to tank some shots. And these Irish brigadiers are doing so much work versus the Caronians. Really nice hold from Absolute Eutopia. But the Rimas though, he'll kill some Carolians, and there's 30 more showing up. 20 over there, and another batch incoming with some hussars. Trying to train more leather cannons as well. Ooh, that's a huge catch. Gonna lose a couple of villages there. Didn't lose the settler wagon. Absolute Eutopia trying to raid. Gonna catch a villager, but he's losing some cavalry in the middle as we speak. And you don't really want to lose these older Hussars because they are quite a bit stronger than normal Hussars and extra tanky versus Carolingians, which is what you want. He's gonna manage to save the cav on the left, and meanwhile he's sieging some torps on the right hand side. The chase continue on the left hand side of the map. And one of the Hussars being snared. He's gonna sacrifice him for the good cause. And ooh, huge flank. He will kill the villager, but will lose most of his Hussars. Yeah, all of them. So a good trade for Sweden there for sure. The zone top's going down, but still 170 population for Sweden. And the score gap is widening quite a bit now. Looks like Sweden is going for a push. It's got so many reinforcements in the back of that. Huge armies crossing the river as we speak. And another batch of 10 Carolians on the way as well. And all these villagers are exposed. Oh no. This could be the game deciding moment there. The entire Maltese economy on this side of the map, and his army is just looking so much worse than the Sweden one at this point. Huge reinforcements for Absolute Utopia, batch of cav, batch of longbows. It looks like he's gonna hold once again, but he's losing quite a lot of villager as well, and more reinforcements, more Carolians joining the party. And yeah, Absolute Utopia resigns. Wow, a really nice game there, and showing how good Sweden can be with if you let them just mass torps and stuff. But some really nice holds from Absolute Utopia overall, with a really nice cleanup in the first big fights. Unfortunately, not being quite enough, and then Sweden just outscaling quite hard. 5,000 more resources in such a short game is quite the outboom. And 92 Carolians being trained overall. And even though he lost, Sweden lost more units than Malta overall, just made so much more that, and in the end it doesn't matter. Yeah, the Sweden economy rolling. So 2-1 right now for Warsword. This best of 7. And Siena Warsword has to play Italy and Malta for the remaining games of this series. And it looks like we got some 700 food enjoyers in the chat. Pink achievement, you don't see that often, because it's on paper much worse than the other crates, because food is a fast gathering resources, whereas wood and coin are not. Looks like players getting ready to get into game number 4. And Warsword is about to play Italy. And Absolute Utopia will be playing as the British civilization. Lionheart saying that I am a 700 food enjoyer. I think the last time I sent 700 food was probably a British versus Russia when I was PR25. 4 years ago or something like that. I never sent that card. Yeah, I'm more of a 600 coin enjoyer than 700 food, for sure. Lionheart making fun of me in the chat. I'm super offended. So Italy versus British, though. Interesting one. I don't think we've seen that matchup yet in this tournament as well. But I feel like British should have the tools to prevent Italy going for a fast industrial, that's for sure. And we'll have to see how Absolute Utopia decides to play that. But yeah, both of these civilizations being really strong overall. British has been S tier since the ESOC patch on Legacy. And Italy seems to be rather strong as well. So we are ready to go in this game number 4 for the Kings of the Old World, round of 8, best of 7 between Warsword and Absolute Utopia. And we're getting Warsword playing as Italy in the blue color, and Absolute Utopia playing as the British in the red color, bottom of the map. On a map that has a lot of different strats available, there's a sizable amount of fish in the sea, so water is definitely viable there. A small TP line in the middle of the map, and some native TPs as well. The House of Oldenburg. There's some really interesting texts that you could research. The House of Vasa as well. with some economic cards. You could get yourself 4 top wagon. Can also get yourself some army upgrades for all your units.
Yes.
And 15 coin being picked up by Warsword there. And British went for the 2 manors opening, so no trading post. And we got a water deck at schooners, some warships, and improved warships card. Oh no, he's got 3 rockets in deck. All the treaty players are cringing right now, as they consider these rockets to be quite bad overall. But it's not a bad card for supremacy, for sure. $89 pop in deck. What do we have for Italy there? Okay, CM, schooners as well, and some water cards. So both players having water option and schooners being shipped for Italy, so definitely we'll go for this water boom.
Bondi.
And yeah, as you were mentioning, no 700 food in the British deck, which makes sense if he goes for water. Aging up with the governor, which will be the tower and 200 coin. I don't think we've seen any Italy water boom yet in this tourney. I'm really curious to see how this plays out. He will be chopping a lot of wood. I believe he already researched Gangso as well.
Bondi.
Yep, he did indeed. So let's see where he drops his dock.
Yes.
And if Absolute Utopia is going to identify that, the training post is going up with the architects, and then he will be retasked to build that dock. Picking up a nice 50 food. Still gonna take a while to build a dock with the architect, so he's not gonna boom super hard just yet. And Absolute Utopia is reaching the common stage. Is he going for forward base? It doesn't look like it. Lombard being built for Italy. And 700 wood first for the British player. With barracks and tower in base. Training a few musketeers, researching hunting dogs, so really standard opening so far. It looks like Warsword is walling the choke for his dock and gonna place his outpost there. Interesting. Is that a barracks that he's placing down as well? Yes, it is. So he's going really heavy on the water / coastline presence there. Getting that outpost and that barracks to defend against land units, and a tower for warships as well. Sending theaters next. I'm training a few Cossacks out of Yale. So really slow boom for Italy there. not going too greedy, but playing rather safe with that forward base on the coastline. And squeezing a few fishing boats here and there. Second dock going up though. So what is British doing to deal with that? This looks like he's just making units in base for now. A couple musketeers. He's on 90 pop of manors and gonna drop a couple extra ones with his remaining wood, I assume. But you could save it to drop a dock, train a caravel. Lot of options there. But I don't think Absolute Utopia scouted the water just yet. He's scouting the base now, and he's not getting a lot of intel. He knows that there's a building close to the shore, but I thought it takes so long for these architects to build stuff. Like the Drax Foundation went up like a minute and a half ago. But yeah, Absolute Utopia is now gonna push. He's got a couple musketeers in the field. And looks like one villager is going to go down to this classic Daredevil. Muskets will kill one of them. But that's what Italy wants, right? It just wants to buy time. Looks like Absolute Utopia got a lot of food stacked and he's sending 700 coin as well, so perhaps looking for an age up there. And looking rather similar for Italy, 700 coin on the menu. Perhaps he will use that to mass more Cossacks. And he should have a decent amount of fishing boats now. About 10-ish, maybe more. On the sea. 12. So, a pretty good water boom. He's got all market upgrades as well, even got amalgamation. Yeah, there's so many good technologies to pick up from the House of Hausa. Autops wagon, unit upgrades. And looks like both players are happy playing passive there. Good catch for Absolute Utopia. Should get a really nice volley with these muskets. So both players going for the Fortress Age. Absolute Utopia with 40 villagers, 39 so far. And Italy with about the same, I feel like, but he's got fishing boats and villagers with all market upgrades, which has amalgamation, steel traps and things. So the eco should be somewhat similar. And he's training more mercenaries. He really likes those Cossacks. And Italy, it's not looking like... Okay, he's skewing units now. I was thinking for a second that he might want it to go for an industrial age as soon as possible. But it doesn't look like it, and Absolute Utopia is gonna push directly as soon as he reaches age 3. 2 falconets will follow, and veteran muskets being researched as we speak. There it is, the upgrade. Gonna take down one house and exchange a couple bullets with the Italian army. And the cannons are following behind that. Let's see what the Italian response is going to be. He's training more mercenaries. Cannons are crossing the TP line now. And I feel like Absolute Utopia is happy fighting that. Now he's got the cannons threat. A batch of Cossacks though has to protect the cannons. And he's got reinforcing muskets just to do that. Really clutch mini mode as well. Would take some damage on the cannon, but he killed so many units for that I feel like this is totally worth it. And now the score looking better and better for British. Italy sending 2 falconets of his own, but taking a lot of economical damage. Using cavalry houses, probably will lose that bombard as well. Losing a couple villagers. He's still water booming quite hard, but oh, nice reaction time for absolute Eutopia sniping that cavalry unit as soon as it popped out of the bombard. Still water booming, but it's gonna be really hard for him to hold that push. And where are these 2 falconets? Did they pop yet? Yeah, they are. Okay. Yeah, really good positioning for these cannons. And 5 assaults being shit for absolute Eutopia now. Has to be really careful there. But that's a good positioning for Warsword overall. These trees are blocking the army, but he's got nothing left to cover his cannons, and the hussars are just gonna charge right on them, and there he goes, GG. Warsword tapping out. Wow, man, I really thought that passive gameplay would reward Italy much more, but it looks like this mercenary play from Warsword didn't pay out. Yeah, just not a lot of units being trained by Warsword, and the musketeers from Absolute Utopia were just too much to handle. Villager being quite equal, but British quite ahead in economy. Hello, Exam. Okay, so 2-2 in this best of 7. Really back and forth. None of these players are taking a convincing lead. And it's gonna come down to the remaining 2 or 3 games to decide who's gonna reach the quarterfinals. I mean, the semifinals, sorry, of this tournament. Waiting for players to draft their sieves for the next game. So Finland was the map we just played on, and this next one will begin in Cortland. Courland, sorry. Interesting map with 2 relatively safe TP lines. And the frozen lake in the middle, where you cannot build buildings on it. which makes rushes a little bit weaker because you would have to go on the side, which means more walking time for your units and less map control overall. That's why we've been seeing so much Italy being picked on this map, and civilization like Dutch are also quite strong on this map. So yeah, really tight series so far. Definitely could go either way. 20k one shot guy. Yeah, really brave from you to bet channel points before you even know what saves are being picked. But players. And it looks like we're getting the civilizations ready for next game. And Warsword is going with the China pick. And Absolute Utopia is going with Lakota. Interesting picks for this map. Lakota has been played quite a lot, but they've been nerfed on this patch. So we'll have to see what kind of strategy Absolute Utopia comes up with. China has been nerfed too. I was not aware about that. So I guess it will be the battle of the D tier civs. Okay, players are getting ready. Moving into game number 5 anytime soon now. And it looks like you guys are going really heavy on predictions. 180k being bets on this game between Warsword playing against China in the color blue and Absolute Utopia playing against Lakota in color red on Poland. And there we go. So back to coin start for Lakota now. Let's see. He's going for the TP in base. Which makes sense, I guess. Perhaps you could go market in some scenarios, but this relies on you picking up treasures. So we'll see what kind of build order he goes for. He's chopping wood right now. Warsword playing as the Chinese civilization, going for the training post approach. It looks like he's gonna pick up a wood treasure as well that he scouted earlier. So he can get his village down without having to chop any wood. Oh, to lose deck. So it looks like a recurrent theme for Warsword. Naming all his deck not to lose. And I don't see good faith agreement in decks, so I would agree with him. But the T export, T card, I don't remember how it's called. Definitely an option. T trade, I don't remember. And Lakota with a deck called FI with indeed a lot of H4 options and not that many H3 ones. But it's got the main cards you want: 8 Veers, Keeners, 5 Rifle Riders, 3 Dog Soldiers, or Tokola Soldiers. And a lot of H4 cards that are really strong. 4,000 res shipment in H4 is pretty good indeed. The one that upgrades all your units to champion for free. Indeed, really strong. So aging up with the chief. No fast age option being chosen for the Lakota player. And Warsword is going for the T export card. Giving him a consulate wagon. Edging over the Summer Palace as well. So really standard things. We'll see what he goes for. I suspect Russian alliance and going for the blockhouse, which is really strong overall, obviously. You get a strong defensive building that also uses as a barracks. And absolute Eutopia going for that training post in transition. And 700 wood first. Curious to see what he does with that. He hit with 400 wood, sending wood first. So a lot of options there, obviously. Forward Warheart could be a thing. Training Seaton, Bowman, and War Clubs with that wood. A second trading post and Stagecoach is also a play. And 700 coin being shipped for China there. And yep, as I was mentioning, Stagecoach being researched. Second trading post being built. Let's see how he spends that remaining 700 wood that he just received. A corral being built in base. Travel marketplace. I would assume the market will go up as well. And 700 coin following. Warsword going up to the Fortress Age with the Confucian Academy as well. Or the standard Kani Mata, as some would call it. And gonna grant him 8 skirmishers, arquebuses upon age up. And to be fair, it's looking quite tough to push into the base, the town center, and the blockhouse fire. 700 wood being shipped as well. We'll see how he decides to spend that. Because he could go for a stagecoach himself if Lakota is being passive. And it looks like Lakota indeed is passive. Going for an age up himself. But this Lakota FF seems quite a bit weaker than what it used to be. Because you don't have the 5 villager card anymore in H2. So yeah, you have the 2 TP stagecoach, which is really strong. But yeah, -5 bills. And consulate being switched to British. Lakota Explorer trying to get some intel on what's going on. He's gonna see the arquebuses, so he knows that Warsword aged with the Confucian Academy, but he doesn't have a shipment just yet. So he cannot really put much pressure with just these arquebuses and a couple of steppy riders. Just too scary to push without any anti-cav versus Lakota. Lakota is aging slowly, right? I assume he's aging with the bisons. The wise women. Dropping another tribal marketplace and 1,000 coin being shipped for Warsword there. Interesting approach. We'll see what he does with that. I remember a really strong China player who used to go 1k coin, 5 meteor hammers. And he's training units, so not looking like an industrial game plan for the Chinese player. And Lakota is going for 3 Tokala Soldier. So no Wakinas. He's got trading post on point as well. And it's gonna be really safe for the time being with all the food he's got under his TC. The remaining hunts from earlier, and also the bisons from the age up. So I wonder if Warsword is waiting for a mercenary shipment. Because it's looking like he wants to push right now, but he doesn't have much anti-cav, and the Easter color soldiers are really strong. So definitely need a lot of Chengdaos or intervention or Manchus even to deal with them. But yeah, both lasers are gonna scout each other's army and have an idea on its size. And the steppy riders are being dealt with on the left hand side of the map. And 8 villagers for the Lakota players, and going really greedy there. It's not much happening so far. I mean, Lakota just sent 8 vills, so he should be pretty happy about not taking a fight just yet. And that's exactly what you want to be doing as Lakota, right? You're sketching reinforcements, being annoying with your really fast-moving cavalry, trying to kill villagers, or even idle the Chinese economy as much as you can. He's gonna pick up 2 vills there for his raid. And yeah, Warsword just doesn't have a way to catch these units just yet. He should have a shipment anytime soon. Okay, yeah, Manchus are just joining the battle now. And it's gonna be really tough for Absolute Utopia to deal with them because he's only got a lot of war riders. Manchus following the army. Absolute Utopia needs probably needs scav combat and dance on the community plaza to have a chance to win this fight, because this Chinese army is looking quite scary. You have a lot of Cheng Daos to body block. Skirmishers to snipe the boar riders, and the Manchus in the back are just gonna do a lot of DPS. Nine Wakina has been shipped. A batch of cavalry being trained by the Chinese player. Not exactly what he needs right now, but even something to body block and just tank damage cannot be bad. But yeah, looking like a big engagement there. The TP in base is gonna help the Lakota units a little bit, but these Manchus, man, are just not gonna go down, and there's so many skirms in the back providing damage on the Bariders. The Wakinans are gonna pop anytime soon, but a bit late to the party, I'm afraid. And Lakota losing a lot of boar riders there. And most of his economy is being idled right now. And all the bottom boar riders were focusing the Chinese monk. But all in all, it looks like Lakota is gonna be holding that just fine. He's sending 5 rifle riders, and that's where his deck is just not paying off, because imagine if he had 5 axe riders in deck instead and was stacking them to elite right now, then he could clean up the remaining arquebuses, but now he's forced to ship something that's just not gonna do a whole lot versus the Chinese composition. He already sent 3 Tokola soldiers before, so he just doesn't have any hand cavalry shipment left, which is what he needs right now, really. So cav combat it's going to be, which is definitely a good option, and will buff his units in the long run. But yeah, not having axe riders in deck just hurts a lot for sure. He's training some right now. He's got double stable axe rider in production right now. Imagine a batch of 10 axe riders and 5 being shipped. But he's gonna get 7 of them. And 7 with war tents and cav combat are no joke. Now that the Manchus are dead, it's gonna be much harder for China to deal with hand cavalry. So he went for intervention, which is really strong, obviously, and following up with iron troops, and these guys are gonna be deadly versus the Bariders. A Flying Crow on the field, provided by the Confucian Academy. And China is knocking on Lakota's door once again. Let's see how Absolute Utopia is gonna deal with this. It's training mobile riders. He's losing a lot of villagers, has to be careful there. Rescuing the monk as well. Just going really brave versus the boar riders. And looks like this town center is going down. The rifle riders won't pop on time. And ooh, oh, huge pickup in the middle of the map. The Axe Riders and the Riders catching the Iron Troops. Which is great pickup obviously, but he's losing so much in the meantime. He's losing a lot of villagers. And this Chinese army looks unstoppable. So it's a great catch, obviously, but how is he gonna hold this push? He's just running around right now and catching reinforcements, which is obviously a good thing to do when you have no way of dealing with your opponent army. But when the same opponent army is just in your base, sieging all your infrastructures, then it's just getting harder and harder. And China getting so much XP in the back of that. Gonna ship Chengdao's now. And it will be another good pickup for the Lakota player. He won't be losing too much there. A couple Axe Riders and gonna kill 11 Chengdao's there. And yeah, good reaction from Warsword, identifying where the Lakota economy is on the right hand side of the map and just going straight for it. And even modded villages now. Looking really rough for Absolute Utopia. Stable will go down. And there's also a fight in the top of the map. Yeah, Koda he's getting good trades on all the reinforcements for sure. He's losing really few units and killing a lot, but still his army is just not enough to kill the main Chinese army, which is all what matters right now. 5 meteor hammers being shit for China. I'm not a huge fan of this card. I feel like infantry combat would be, I mean, territorial combat, or however it's called, would be stronger. Just making sure that he doesn't lose any fights, and then he will be Gucci. But he's stacking quite a lot of resources now. He could go for a second town center on the middle of the map, securing these resources. Looks like Lakota is going for a last-stand effort, which is rebuilding the town center and gathering enough food to get the Tokola soldiers and spending his shipments. But I feel like he didn't do enough economical damage to pull this off, unfortunately for him. He will get a nice raid there, but the Chinese army is around. So he has to get away there. But who knows, it's not over yet. Lakota's units are obviously super strong, and if he can get his 2 shipments on the field and the Tokala soldiers and get a good fight somehow, then perhaps he's still in this game after all. He's really down in eco, but he's getting caught right now. He's losing quite a few units. And the town center is being idled. Good use of the meteor hammer shipment, and yeah, Absolute Utopia just realizes that there's no way he can deal with this army, even if he gets his best case scenario with the 2 shipments, and just gonna call it. And GG, yeah, really well played by Warsword there. Really well controlled. Just just taking good fights with this main army. Really good effort from Absolute Utopia, catching reinforcements and shipments being sent. But the main Chinese army was just too massive and couldn't really find a way to take a good fight there. Yeah, you can see it's. I mean, all these fights were kind of close, but China just has more units overall. And as Lakota in this matchup, you need to like rush fights. You can't take even trades because your units are more expensive and better than the Chinese ones. So yeah, 3-2 for Warsword now, which is also a match point. So will Absolute Utopia be able to bring this back to 3-3 and bring us to a deciding game in this thrilling best of 7, or will Warsword take it 4-2? We're about to see players picking their saves for the last game, for this next game, sorry. So I believe Warsword has to play Malta there. And we'll have to see what Absolute Utopia decides to counter with. It looks like players decided to take a small break between the games. Don't blame them, it's been a long series. And Absolute being one game away from elimination, so it's totally justified for him to take his time and pick the correct sieve there. And there we have it. As mentioned before, Warsword is going to be playing as Malta. And Absolute Utopia will be countering him with Spain as his civilization pick. An interesting pick on this map. Scandinavia is going to be the 6th map in this best of 7. Once again, I'd like to thank the sponsors of this tournament, Tech Cafe and Microsoft, for providing the funds necessary to host this tournament. And thank you to everybody else who donated and contributed to this tournament. And thanks a lot, Me No English, subscribing with Rhyme. More than 1 year as a subscriber. Thanks a lot. And looks like we're going in game number 6. Score is currently 3-2 for Warsword versus Absolute Utopia. And we got Warsword playing as Malta versus Absolute Utopia, counterpicking with Spain on the map Scandinavia, which is a really high resource map. I feel like that hunts also have the starting berries and some sea presence on both sides of the map. Will it be the end for Absolute Utopia in this tournament, or will we go to game number 7 to decide who will reach the semifinals of the Kings of the Old World tournament? Spain not going for the usual trading post start, whereas Malta is going for it. I feel like this should be a good matchup for Spain. It could put a lot of pressure on Malta with the quick FF. But we will see how players decide to go for it. Ooh. Really wild deck for the Spanish player. Infinite 300 wood, a lot of military shipments as well. No Spanish gold, but church card. Malvados here. I wasn't aware of that card. Interesting one. And looks like both explorers are fighting in the middle of the map for treasure contention, and Warsword was able to pick the 50 XP and 50 wood. Definitely will help his early H2 and his transition. And once again, we get some water presence for the Maltese player. Got fish markets, some warships, and rendering plants in his deck. So curious to see what he does. The deck name is that I love you. Big shout out to AZ. Okay, we'll be playing versus Repnac in the next series. So another exciting series coming up after Absolute Utopia versus Warsword. Okay. Looks like Spain is banking some wood, but he hasn't dropped his trading post yet. We'll see what he does. And meanwhile, Malta was able to pick another 60 wood. So if he goes for the Commandery and Settler Wagon Boom, then he already has a substantial amount of wood in his bank. And yeah, that's what he's going for. Absolute Utopia picking up a 30-foot treasure. And looks like he's macroing for a fast fortress, but still doesn't have a trading post built. 700 coin being shipped first, so it definitely will be a fast fortress. And I think he's picking up wood treasure. Yes, he is. So he will drop his trading post in the back of that, or not, actually going for the barracks. Interesting. So no trading post Spain FF, but going for the early barracks, probably to make sure that he holds his tower and his forward base no matter what the Malta player is doing. Spain with no TP, is that viable? We're about to figure that out soon. So Malta is just booming right now. Training settler wagons from the commandery. And Absolute Utopia is gonna pick up a nice 50 coin. So I'm curious to see what's the Malta game plan there. Because he's not making any units just yet, he's just happy booming. But if he wants to go to the Fortress Age, he's gonna be way slower than the Spanish player. And if he wants to play H2, then he will play with worse units than Spain for sure. But he will have the economic advantage, so we'll see about that. Spain slowly advancing to the Fortress Age, training a couple musketeers as well, and receiving his 700 wood shipment. So he's not going for 5 villagers by the look of it, and we'll save his shipment for the Fortress Age. Looking like quite the aggressive bad order from Absolute Utopia. We'll see how he spends that wood on. Get a couple houses. He's gonna have an early timing with a couple musketeers plus what he decides to age up with. 4 hussars would be a nice addition to his composition, but he could also go for 9 crossbows. Yeah, the age up coming in for Spain, 7 minutes, which is pretty fast. And 2 cannons in his first shipment, and Malta is going for the H3 with the Adventurer. Still gonna be really hard for him to hold this timing. And these assaults are gonna deny the military buildings for Warsword. And could have killed another villager but didn't spot him, fortunately for the Maltese player. And 2 cannons and 12 bikes being shipped in the back of that. Malta reaching the fortress age. So he ate with the crossbows, but he sent advanced civilization in transition. Interesting approach by Eutopia, taking his time and sieging the trading post first before pushing with these cannons. And yeah, he's got a second army pushing from the north, but these cannons are quite exposed, has to be careful. He's got the pikes on the way, but these crossbows are training really well with the muskets. There's only 1 hussar to snare them. Finally making use of his cannon. Ooh, Guigs gun being sent by Malta there. This is gonna be really strong to hold any push, and wow, huge cannonball killing 3 infantry units there. And absolute Eutopia just doesn't care at all and just gonna right click the Guigs gun. Yeah, he has to get his falconets really close if he wants to deal with that. But the Minutemen got so much value, killed all the muskets. And wow, huge cannonball again, killing 2 additional musketeer. 3 of them either. So the Guigs gun is going down, but the villager pull from the Maltese player is doing wonders there. Not losing a whole lot and killing the 2 cannons. So Malta lost a lot of infrastructures, but Spain lost most of his army. He's got 5 lances now though. Should be able to clean up the infantry there. And ooh, Malta. Okay, huge pop there. Should be able to clean up. Lances are not gonna be enough. And all the settler wagons being evacuated on the right hand side of the map, trying to gather some precious resources and not being idle for too long. More lances being shipped by Spain, but this is quite all in. He doesn't have Spanish gold, he didn't send 5 years. So his economy is gonna be much worse than the Maltese one. 4 more lances about to pop though. It's gonna be another decisive moment. Can Absolute Eutopia clean the Maltese army one more time? The lancers are about to connect. Muskets going into melee to deal with them. More muskets popping. These lancers are tanking a lot and the muskets are doing a lot of DPS in the back, but it's not gonna be quite enough. And the Maltese infantry is just getting really strong in their eastern center because they have a bonus when they are defending. And every time they fight like that, they both get an extra shipment, Spain even faster. It's starting to look tough for Spain, running out of steam, running out of good shipments. And yeah, 26 villager for Spain. And Malta is getting time, which is what he wants. Oh, is that the Haussanist units? They're gonna be so good versus muskets. Doing so much damage. Oh no, Spain has to get out of here, and looking at the score, it's looking better and better for Malta. Oh my god, these guys do so much damage. Absolute Eutopia will be able to escape. He's getting snared now though. Some skirmishers being trained and fire pistols being shipped as well. This could be the cleanup he needs. But oh my god, all these muskets are going down. His skirmishers are going down as well. There's still one hussar, but he's low HP. And this was probably another good trade for Malta. And Absolute Eutopia just resigned. Wow. Warsword is the first winner in this quarterfinals of the King of the Old World. And it's gonna be moving on to the semifinals tomorrow. A really great series between these two players. Absolute Eutopia giving his absolute best, but was not enough today, unfortunately for him. And 4-2 will be the final score. But wow, really nice hold from Malta there. He was outnumbered quite a lot, but this fixed gun was clutched. He killed so many units and forced Spain to take a decision. Rather back off or have to sacrifice a lot to get it down. And Absolute Utopia is just taking a bad trade and was not able to get a proper cleanup in the back of that. And the Maltese eco just kicking in. Really well played by Warsword. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this first series for the day. We'll be right back in a couple minutes for the following one, which will be Ravnak versus Ezad, another quarterfinal.